Have you ever seen a car, a really powerful one, with its engine just roaring? I mean, the RPMs are in the red, the driver's foot is floored, but the car isn't moving an inch? That's the feeling we're going to get into today. This feeling of a powerful spiritual engine that, for 2,000 years, has been revving like crazy, but going absolutely nowhere. You know, for 2 millennia, the engine of the covenant has been roaring. We've got the text, right? God's eternal statutes. And we've got the desire, that deep, unshakable hunger to connect with him. All the power is there, the intention is there. So that brings us to the big question, the whole point of this explainer. Why aren't we moving? We've somehow convinced ourselves the whole car is broken, that when the temple was destroyed back in 70 AD, the entire transmission just shattered. But what if the problem isn't a broken engine at all? And that leads us right into our first section. See, we're not looking for a busted engine. We're looking for the parking brake. That one simple little thing that's been holding everything back this whole time. And there it is. The parking brake isn't some divine command. It's a psychological one. It's this myth that we've all just accepted, that without one specific building in Jerusalem, God's commands are somehow on pause. It's a story of impossibility that has kept this powerful car parked for centuries, while we just sit inside, revving the engine with our prayers and getting nowhere. Okay, so how do we release this brake? Well, we start by taking apart the faulty logic it's built on. Let's jump into section 2 and absolutely shatter this myth of the binary. For too long, we've been caught in this trap, this all-or-nothing mindset. We think there are only 2 choices. On one side, you've got column A, the absolute ideal. $1 billion temple, a perfect high priest, world peace, the whole shebang. And on the other side, column B, the void. Nothing, just silence and waiting. And because the ideal seems so impossible, we've just settled for the void. But here's the thing. The Torah never gave us that choice. This verse right here, given right after the 10 Commandments, this is the master key. It's the original blueprint for how to connect, given centuries before any temple was even a thought. And it just completely demolishes that false choice. Let's just break it down real simple. What did God actually ask for? The material. Earth. Simple, accessible, it's literally everywhere. The location? In all places, plural. Not one single GPS coordinate. And the condition? Consecration. A place where God's name is recorded. It's about holiness, not architecture. You don't need a building permit for that. And this is the perfect way to think about it. The altar is the essential connection. It's the phone line to God. The temple? Well, that's just the phone booth. Sure, it's nice, it's majestic, it makes the call more comfortable, but you don't actually need the booth to make the call. We've been mourning the loss of the phone booth when the phone line was never cut. Okay, so the original text is crystal clear. But is there historical precedent for this? You bet there is. Let's move to section 3 and look at the undeniable proof that's been hiding in plain sight. The absolute smoking gun comes from the book of Ezra. Think about it. When the exiles returned from Babylon, they were in the exact same boat we are today, a ruined holy site and no temple. So what did they do? Did they just sit around and wait for a perfect building? No way. They followed a clear blueprint, and you have to pay attention to the order of operations here. It's crucial. Step 1, they came back. Step 2, they built the altar. Step 3, they started the daily offerings. And only then, much, much later, did they even bother to lay the foundation for the new temple. And there it is, right from the scripture itself. The smoke was rising, the connection was active, the covenant was being fulfilled, and the temple literally didn't exist yet. Not one single stone of the foundation was in place. This proves it beyond a shadow of a doubt. The altar functions independently of the house. Case closed. So, wow. The permission slip was signed from the very beginning. We can restart the offerings. The door has been unlocked this whole time. But right here is where theory slams into reality, where we face a very real, very practical challenge. Because the Torah doesn't just ask for our belief. It demands physical, costly action. And it's here that we find out just how impossible this burden is if we try to carry it alone. So let's just get brutally honest for a second. If you, just you, as one person, decided you were going to fulfill these commands today, what would that actually do to your bank account? To make this real, let's just zoom in on one single festival, the 8 days of Sukkot, the Feast of Tabernacles. The requirements are laid out with military precision in the Book of Numbers. So, over those 8 days, the public offerings required are just staggering. We're talking 71 bulls, 15 rams, and 105 lambs. And that's not even counting the goats and all the flour and oil that go with them. The scale is just immense. Okay, based on today's livestock market prices, for one person to fulfill that public command for that single week, it would cost nearly 200,000 pounds. That's almost $250,000 for one festival. The cost is so insane it feels like a typo. But it isn't. It's designed to be impossible for one person. And that right there is the key insight. That crushing financial burden, it's not a bug, it's a feature. It is the built-in proof that the covenant was never meant to be some individual's checklist. It was always designed to be a communal, national effort. Which brings us beautifully to our final section, the solution. How do we restart this engine? Not by ourselves, but together, the way it was always meant to be. Well, God already gave us the mechanism. In ancient Israel, those massive public offerings were funded by the treasury. And how was the treasury filled? By a simple half-shekel tax, a small, totally manageable contribution from everyone that made sure the collective duty could be fulfilled. The smoke rose on behalf of all. And this is where theory becomes reality, right now. The work has begun. An altar of earth has been built, just like the blueprint says, and the offerings are being performed according to the letter of the law. The engine has been restarted. But as we all know, a fire needs fuel to keep burning. So this is the invitation. You don't have to carry that impossible 200,000-pound burden alone. You can become a partner in the smoke. By contributing your modern half shekel at pureiodina.com, you are literally adding fuel to this fire, ensuring that this time, after 2,000 years of silence, it doesn't go out again. So here's the bottom line. The door was never locked. That parking brake was just a myth we told ourselves. God's eternal statutes were never put on pause. Which leaves us with one final question. After 2 millennia of cold silence, will you help strike the match?